it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and I'm out here today to clean up where we removed this fence line and do all of the brush hogging around the pond and where we removed the corral. I started by putting the grapple on because there's some fence posts down there that we still have to move, and then you never know what might be in the weeds in some of the rest of this area, so I like to run the grapple along the ground fairly low, and maybe even if I think there might be something in an area, drag it backward across there and you can hear it if it hits, and go ahead and get anything like that pulled out. I've got a bunch of projects to do with this pond. I just ordered the geotextile for our French drains, and I'm ready to get started on all that, but step one is getting the brush hogging done. So I'm gonna get these hydraulic lines hooked up on the grapple, then get the brush hog put on, grab the drone, and we'll get started. Hey, if you like this kind of video, hit the thumbs up so that YouTube knows that this is good content. Now we'll give you a quick aerial look at the part of the property we're working on. You can see the pond where it's overgrown. It needs bush hogged all the way around the pond. Then where the tractor is right now is where I pulled out the corral. There's a lot of debris in there, chunks of wood, just a little bit of everything that I'm going through right now, trying to find as much of that as I can before I start the brush hog. Then there's a little lean-to shed that I used to keep my bush hog under, and I'm going to pull that down with the tractor here in a minute. That shed and all the fencing that we took down are going to go to one of my neighbors that has some livestock that he needs to get fenced in. So it's good that it's not going to waste. Then of course on the left side of the pond is where we took out the fence, and I need to check all that for debris and then start brush hogging there. All right, so in the last 2 weeks, I ripped out a big corral here, and the fence that ran this way, and then that building. All of that had posts sunk in the ground. Quite a few of those posts had concrete on them. So we've got big holes all over the place. I need to try to avoid driving a tire off into those holes. I threw some wood chunks into some of the bigger holes, but I'm gonna get this brush hogged right now, and then I'll be able to see it more clearly, and I'll bring a load of dirt in and level across this before I start digging my drain lines. So I'm gonna jump on the brush hog, get this finished up, then we'll go over my plans for what I'm gonna do on the pond in the next few weeks. Right there, you heard me hit some small wood chunks and some clumps of dirt. I used this area as a wood yard last fall, and I had the splitter and all my IBC totes of firewood down here. We were dumping loads of logs and getting it all split up, and once we decided to move the wood yard, this got all overgrown, and there's just a lot of sticks and debris down here. I knew I wasn't going to find 100% of it in the weeds, but we got enough of it that I didn't hit anything really big. Alright, so I've been over this twice with the brush hog. There's still some chunks in here that I wouldn't want to hit with my mower from when I was splitting wood down here. There's some bark and different stuff. So I think the next thing I'll do is walk it, pull out all the debris, and then put the mower on the tractor and mow it with that. See if I can mulch this up a little bit better before I start filling in the holes. But that'll be a project for another day. Let's go take a look at what I need to do down at the pond. All right, so I'm trying to give you a shot now, looking down the bank, and I don't know how well you can see it, but this pond bank is like this, just completely wavy. Makes it harder to maintain and harder to fish, more likely to step off in it. It just doesn't look as good. And I think the reason it's that way, they used to have cows out here and they would step off in and cave in parts of that. I doubt that the original shape this pond was cut in was like that. So my next two projects are to straighten out the edge of this, just bring the backhoe down here and dig this out into a straight edge. Then I'm going to start running my drain lines. I have 400 foot of French drain pipe, corrugated black round pipe up by the shop. I'm gonna do two 200 foot runs starting at that end of the pond and this end of the pond, and I'll have them dump maybe just a few inches below ground level right here at the bank, and then use a transit level to maintain that grade. So it might be 2 foot deep at that end, or it might not be that deep. I'm not sure yet until I get the transit level out. But I want to get as much water draining off of that hill into the pond as I can, for 2 pretty obvious reasons. Number 1, it's always muddy and a mess to try to move around up on this part of the property because it doesn't drain well enough. The second reason is the pond gets low during the dry season. So the more water we can get off the hill and into the pond, the better. This will probably just be the first 2 of several more that I run. I'm also going to expand the pond into more of an L shape and have it come out this direction. That'll be a project I start hopefully next month. And when I dig that out, I can build a bank across the back that keeps any water from running off the hill this way and down to where our Christmas trees are planted, because they are getting flooded and it's hard to work down there because it's too wet. So we need to stop as much of the water on the property as possible at this pond. So that's what I'm going to be working on. If you see any problems with my plan or suggestions on how to do it better, let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate that, because I'm just trying to figure out the best plan, but I don't have a lot of experience with working on ponds. So I look forward to hearing what you have to say about it. I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. Just a minute, you'll see links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.